Ryan Garcia calls Tank Davis a coward. Man, that's a major statement coming from the guy who ultimately took his first loss from Tank. But he feels this way. Ryan Garcia feels this way because of the rehydration clause, because of the catch weight that was implemented against him in their fight back in April of 2023. It's been almost a year since that mega fight blockbuster took place between Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. I thought it was a spectacle for sure. Was it the best boxing match we've ever seen? Definitely not. Was it the most competitive fight we've seen? Definitely not. But it was a great night for the sport of boxing in terms of we got to see two big names in their primes fight each other. But Ryan Garcia is kind of saying, at what cost? You know, Tank had to do a lot to take away. He had to take away a lot from Ryan Garcia in order for that fight to even be made, because ultimately, if Ryan Garcia doesn't accept the catch weight, if Ryan Garcia doesn't accept the rehydration clause, that fight doesn't happen. So I give all the credit in the world to Ryan Garcia for making that fight happen. Didn't get the outcome he wanted, but I think it's becoming obvious that, I know we're all very confused by what's going on right now. We obviously have the fight between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, April 20th at the Barclays Center here in Brooklyn. It's going to be a good one on DAZN pay-per-view. And we're all very confused by what Ryan Garcia is trying to do in terms of promoting this fight. We've seen a lot of crazy posts, things that are outlandish from Ryan Garcia. We don't know what to make of it. Is he selling the fight? We heard things coming from his ex-wife talking about how she's concerned for him. So to what extent this is promoting and to what extent this is legit and this is genuinely a concern for Ryan Garcia, we don't know. But we always hear him talk about Tank Davis, and he did a little word association game, say the first word that comes to your mind. And when they said Tank, he said coward. And the reason why he said that is because he wasn't willing to fight Ryan Garcia at 140 pounds. Ultimately, if they had fought at 140, then Ryan Garcia would have no excuse but to perform on that night. But ultimately, because Tank's team and Tank implemented the catch weight, the rehydration clause, this gave Ryan Garcia kind of something to fall back on. Not saying that it didn't affect him, but it's obviously what he referred to and blamed the loss on, because ultimately when you move to 140 pounds as a boxer of Ryan Garcia's physique, he's a big 35er. He was a big 35er. He goes to 40, who's still a pretty a tall fighter at 140 pounds at junior welterweight, but still not a easy weight cut for someone that walks around maybe 170, when not looking out of shape. And to come down to 40 isn't easy, but Ryan Garcia was willing to go down to 36 for Tank, and then he could only rehydrate within a 10-pound range to make that fight happen, or else he probably would have had to pay fines, and who knows, maybe the fight wouldn't have happened. But there were a lot of stipulations that Ryan Garcia had to deal with, and he's saying that because Tank does this stuff, it kind of ruins the sport of boxing, because you're fooling the people in a sense. You're saying that you're beating fighters, but at the same time you're kind of handicapping them by taking things away from them. And I understand where Ryan's coming from. It's a Mayweather blueprint, though. It's not illegal. It's not against the rules to do this stuff. Boxing's not a clean cut sport in terms of there's a score, and that score can't be argued, and that's what it is. Basketball, team scores 100 points, the other team scores 80, the team with 100 points wins. Obviously we have boxing where the scoring is based on a 12-round judging system, where you have different criteria for scoring, such as effective punches landed, effective defense, ring generalship, all of the above. But it's not clean cut. What one judge may see in a fight, the other judge may see completely different. And that's why, that's only one part of why boxing's a little bit it's never on an even playing field, because you have that, and then you have, these big fights where the negotiations, like Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, that fight doesn't happen if, Tank isn't able to get Ryan to sign the contract when it comes to the rehydration clause and the catch weight. Because no matter what Tank may say, and we're all aware of what Tank thought about Ryan Garcia going into the fight. He said he should be an actor. He shouldn't be a boxer. He's not on my level. and he really believes that. That's his opinion, and you know, you can't be shamed for your opinion. But at the same time, when your actions show otherwise, when you're not willing to fight Ryan Garcia at 140, you have to take him down to 36. It's like, why? Because, you know, Ryan just moved up to 40 for a reason, but he's trying to bring him back down to 36 because he knows that Ryan Garcia is a big guy, and I think draining him a little bit more, those extra 4 pounds, is going to impact his performance. Of course it is. And people are saying it's just 4 pounds. You know, for a guy like Ryan Garcia, who's damn near 6 feet tall, walking around 170 with not an ounce of fat on him, to come down to 136, it's not easy. It's not easy to find those pounds. You know, those last pounds, if you guys know the sport of boxing, you know that when these fighters cut weight, those last pounds are the hardest to lose. Like any other individual, when you're already in tip-top condition, then you have to lose extra weight. It's not healthy. It's not how the body's supposed to function. Your body gets shocked. You're not used to being that skinny. So once Ryan Garcia got to that point, obviously it wasn't easy for him to, you know, have a high level of punch resistance when fight night came. But not to say that, you know, I always say that Ryan Garcia either way doesn't beat Tank, but I think it's a different fight at 140 if there are no stipulations such as the rehydration clause, such as the 140-pound catch weight. Like the 10-pound rehydration clause was like, you don't need to do that. You really don't need to do that. But ultimately, it is smart. It is smart that Tank's team and Tank, you know, implemented that because, you know, it's ultimately a risk. You know, you don't get in the ring with somebody who's bigger, you know, unless you can take something away. And that's the perspective that Tank has. But, you know, Ryan Garcia feels as though that Tank's kind of a coward for doing that stuff. He's ruining the sport by not giving the fans what they want, when they want it, and how they want it. You know, no stipulations, no rehydration clauses, none of that stuff. You know, fighters should be fighting at the weight, and then, you know, however they hydrate is however they want to hydrate. You know, that's why I'd love to see Devin Haney and Tank Davis get the contract signed at some point. And I do hope, and I'm optimistic that fight does go down. But I see a lot of challenges in that fight being made because we know that Devin Haney is a much bigger fighter physically than Tank Davis is. And Tank, as we've seen, you know, the Mario Barrios fight, we've seen the Ryan Garcia fight. He puts stipulations on fighters that are significantly bigger than he is. And Devin specifically because his name's highlighted on Tank's you know, hit list. You know, I'm sure if he wants to be anybody, it's really Devin or Shakur. But Devin's a big fight because we've been talking about this before Shakur even came into the picture. So, like, I don't know how easy that fight would be to, you know, be finalized because Devin's not coming, you know, and to sign any contract that has anything to do with the rehydration clause or a catch weight. And we know that Tank and his team are going to be very strategic about how they construct this contract and, you know, send offers back and forth. They're going to try to take Devin down, and if it doesn't happen, then I don't know if we have a fight there. But Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, it's a great fight, but, you know, we hear Ryan talking about Tank kind of ruining the sport of boxing by putting things in the contract. It's like Ryan calling him a coward because of all the stipulations, putting a rehydration clause, putting a catch weight when you really don't need it if you're that confident. But let me know in the comments what you guys think about Tank Davis and how he puts these little stipulations and restrictions in the contract for his opponents to bring them down in weight and then implement like a rehydration clause, a catch weight, and how that all factors, you know, into the sport of boxing. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
That's going to do it for another NASFight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.